All right, guys, we should be live now. What's up? Hopefully your Friday's off to a great start. This is the DFS 5-pack. Matt and Ryan here. We're going to fly through this one today. Hopefully everybody's off to a great Friday, and Bellman will crush that right up this afternoon like normal.
Yeah, excited to talk this slate out with you. Ugly pitching options, but quite a few good hitting options, if I do say so myself.
Doesn't appear to be any major weather issues today, guys, which is kind of nice. And you're right. The pitching options aren't great. They're not even close to being great. Like, obviously, you'd probably view like a Freddie Peralta as the guy you'd like the most. But, I mean, he hasn't pitched in a couple weeks. And I don't expect Milwaukee to, like, force him to pitch big innings. So you would normally look at his price tag at 9,300 and love it. But I don't love it today.
No, I don't love it either. Question marks there, right? Like,
yeah,
we don't know exactly how long they're going to let him pitch. You've also mentioned the point that St. Louis has gotten to the Milwaukee pitchers. So that's in the back of my head as well.
That was Cincy, actually.
Well, I know that last time St. Louis got to Peralta.
Yeah, I'm not saying they didn't, but it was Cincy who routinely like gives them a really, really hard time. And he was not good in this start against St. Louis, and they had a really good approach against them.
I think Woodruff got hit in that series too, and you made a point that like you thought St. Louis was like seeing the signs or something like that.
Oh, yeah. You're right. I remember that now. Okay, yep, you're 100% correct. Yeah, they looked like they had, like they were tipping pitches or they knew the signs or what was coming. That is a good point. So I don't love
Peralta here.
No, me neither. Who are you excited about? Who are you most excited about?
No one, but if I had to pick two pitchers right now, I think it would be Ivaldi and Ohtani.
Okay. Ohtani seems like he's like in a real good spot against Texas. And you're excited about Ivaldi at this price, which is kind of surprising to me. You're not a monster Ivaldi fan. He's solid, but he's not your favorite guy.
No, I feel pretty good about him, though. Boston's in kind of like must-win mode. I mean, not that, baseball games are ever must-win, but I think he's going to have a full leash. I think the spot's decent enough. And it's just kind of what we're working with today. Now, there are other guys like, Kyle Gibson, Adam Wainwright, who we haven't even touched on. I'm interested to hear your take on. And I see Nestor Cortez getting quite a bit of love.
I'm not interested in Wainwright on the road at 10K, but he definitely has upside if pitching well.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Bumgarner has come way back to earth again, so not interested. Kyle Gibson is a guy that I think this is a ho-hum solid play. He's rarely going to win tournaments for you because he's not a big upside guy, but I expect him to pitch well today. This is a cake matchup in a great ballpark. I kind of think he like walks out of bed and gives you like 15 to 19 today. With a little bit of potential more upside. He's a little pricey, but I feel really good about his floor.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, him and Gutierrez are two guys in that price range I was definitely looking at.
Say even a little cheaper. You said so. Cortez is a guy a lot of people are looking at.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. Baltimore's no good. He's on a full workload these days. He's mostly been solid K stuff. And I don't think his counterpart, John Means, is insane at 6,600.
No, I don't think it is either. I don't know. What was your take on Gutierrez, though, going back up against Detroit?
I would struggle to spend 8,500 on him personally, but kind of like what you said about him a couple starts ago, he has been pretty good this year.
Like, he got absolutely shelled at the beginning of that Miami start, too. I'm surprised they even left him in. All that damage came in the first inning. Like, he had been good before that. I'm not really buying it, but like on this particular slate, I don't think it's crazy. I'll say that.
I feel better about Gibson than I do him, but honestly, if I was going for 30 points, I'd probably give you Gutierrez versus Gibson.
Same. I agree with that. Both sides of it. And then I wasn't really looking at Means. Tough spot, but he did pitch well last time out.
Yeah, and this is a guy who was amazing to start the year, and then he had an injury. He did not look nearly as good recently, but we're seeing a few more Ks the last time out. Back to the strikeout per inning stuff over the last few starts. Tampa, Atlanta, and Tampa. I mean, he's gotten Tampa 3 of his last 5 starts, so he's not supposed to have been perfect.
True.
So he's 6,600. Do you love the spot for him? Oh, definitely not. Definitely not.
Yeah, probably not where I'd want to go, but I mean, I think you can make the case for it like you just did.
And the same thing goes for Rich Hill. We saw a little more of him being like what he was earlier in the season last time I was against this Washington team. He's only 6,500. If you're trying to stack Atlanta, you might need one of these cheaper guys. And I think, he was not great early on for the Mets, but they let him run for 91 pitches the other day. And this guy was dropping 20s and like upper 20s, like commonly earlier in the season. He has a real up and down career.
Yeah, real up and down season, real up and down career, real up and down month. I mean, who knows with him what to ever expect. If the Mets are going to let him throw 90-plus pitches, though, I have a lot of interest in 6,500.
Yeah, who is he? I don't know. I mean, he had a run through San Fran and the Dodgers in his previous 2 starts. That's never easy, but I think it's a decent bet at 6,500.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I don't think it's crazy at all.
Hill or Means, if you could pick one of these cheap guys.
Hill, for sure. I like the spot a lot better.
Agreed. I got you right there. All right, as far as offense go, who you vibing on today?
Honestly, like, man, I'm really vibing on Houston. Like, after a day off, they got shut out 2 games in a row. I'm vibing on Houston hard. Bless you. Bless you.
Excuse me. Any interest in Mets players against Nolan?
Yeah, for sure. They're getting love, as they should. I mean, they're coming in as the second highest owned team behind Atlanta. And it makes sense. I mean, that spot definitely jumped out at me. They're cheap. They got guys up and down throughout their lineup that you can play. I'm definitely not playing them at high ownership, though, personally.
Agreed. They're just not good, right?
No.
I mean, you can just really simplify it down to that.
Yeah, no thanks.
All right. Yankees against Means. I can make the case for him. I probably wouldn't go out of my way to use a bunch of the guys just because they're kind of pricey. And I don't think I like them enough to get there. I respect John Means, but I can understand. I can certainly understand like a Luke Voigt.
Well, the case for them is that they are good and they've got a ton of power. Like, I don't know if I'll prioritize them here, but I'm definitely on side Yankees over Means.
Gotcha. Next up, Oakland against Toronto. Manaya against Manoah. So that times 5 times fast.
This is one, like, it looks like a pitcher's duel, but I could definitely see offense here, especially from the Toronto side. Like, Manaya has not been good.
Yeah, we talk about guys like this all the time. He's a good pitcher, but he hasn't been good lately. He's been giving up a ton of home runs.
Yeah, Toronto got going a little bit against Harvey. I mean, obviously tougher spot, but they're not going to get any love because they're really expensive.
Yeah, like, it could be talking to Vlad on any given day. Springer, Teoscar,
Like, these are the spots that we haven't seen one in like a couple weeks or where we made a video together where like Toronto's really expensive and they're not going to be, high owned. This is another spot like that. We haven't seen it in a while, but we're seeing it tonight. And I think they're definitely in play.
Yeah, I'm on board. I like that. Okay. Ivaldi versus Quantrill. Quantrill was the guy who had been pitching really well. I know he took a little step back against Minnesota, but he's pitched well the last 2 times too. I mean, I won't end up on him, but I'm not playing Boston.
Yeah, when I told you I was making the members only video before I got cut off, and I was on Quantrill, and no Bogarts in this lineup. He's got COVID, I think. All of a sudden, a little watered down. Now they were better the past couple of days, so I won't use Quantrill, but I'm with you. Boston, I don't think is a really special stack here by any means. Like, give me the low-owned Blue Jays over Boston.
Agreed. Detroit against Cincy, Alexander against Gutierrez. How is Cincy coming in as far as love today?
Right after the Mets. So, like, the Mets, and then the Braves. Looks like are the teams getting love.
Yeah, they make sense. Still no Winker, no Senzel, so it's a little bit of a watered-down lineup, but Castellanos against his old team, Farmer, Moustakis. I don't think I'm going to end on them, though, either.
Same. I just am not excited about their lineup, and I feel like I really have to prioritize them.
All right. Gibson against Rogers.
I'm seeing this as either Rogers or Luzardo. Like, a couple places have Luzardo.
Okay. Luzardo was good last time out.
Yeah, really good last time out. Like, against Cincy. Real good last time out. Like, I don't think he's crazy.
No, if he pops up, that's an interesting conversation. This is a good pitcher's park. I don't want the offenses here at all.
Same.
All right, Minnesota against Tampa, Dobnik against Wako. What are we looking at as far as love for each of these teams tonight?
Not really anything from the Tampa side. Minnesota's getting a little more love because they're really cheap. But, man, I'd much rather go to the Tampa side, who's just better.
Yeah, I'm starting to get heavily interested in Tampa Bay. If you're telling me they're not going to get a lot of love, they're affordable too, right?
Yeah. not as affordable as a team like Minnesota. So, I get why Minnesota's going to be chalky, but definitely give me the Tampa side here.
I agree. Dobnik has been, coming back off the IL. He had been not good to start the year. There's no reason for us to believe he's going to be awesome today. If Tampa is really low owned, I am highly interested.
I'm with that. I have no arguments.
And I don't hate the Minnesota side at all either. Like one of these days, Buxton will play well. I know we haven't seen much coming off the IL. He hasn't been striking out the last 2 days, though. So if you're looking for a buying sign, but he's still going to be real popular at this price tag.
Yeah, he will. I think the Minnesota ownership might die down a little bit today because it's a big slate, but they're still going to be overowned.
All right. I'm liking Tampa. Peralta against Wainwright. No thanks to the offense this year.
Yeah, I'm with you. Too many other good spots.
All right. Kansas City against Chicago. Hernandez against Keuchel. If this game was in Chicago, I'd be a little bit more interested because it's in Kansas City. I think it's this game that and honestly, Carlos Hernandez isn't crazy at this price tag.
I mean, no, he had that start before that White Sox start was also against the White Sox where he was really good. So he's got 4 20-plus games out of his past 6.
That's really good. I mean,
he's really cheap is the thing.
Really cheap. You want to stack high-priced teams?
He might be the guy. I also see that Glenn Otto for Texas getting some love, who we didn't talk about. We can talk about him in the Texas game, but I could see Hernandez.
Yeah, this is a good pitcher's park. Like, I'm scared of the White Sox offense.
Sure.
But he's been good against them twice. This is in Kansas City. This is a hard place to go off. Not to say that they couldn't, but it's not a great place to go off.
I'm hesitant to just be like, oh, he was good against them twice, so now I'm going to go back here is my problem with actually ending up on him.
Biggest reason to play him, he's 5,100.
Most definitely.
All right, so this game was, I wouldn't say it was a letdown last night, but it didn't really, quote unquote, go off. But nobody else was really good, so it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah, and they didn't score a ton of runs, but the way they scored them was good for DFS. Multiple home runs. So, I mean, Atlanta looks like the top stack on the board. I don't even think they're going to be like crazy, crazy chalky, but they will be the most popular team on the slate.
Oh, yeah. They'll definitely be the most popular team on the slate. I'm a Sensatella guy, but the industry isn't.
He was so good last time out.
Yeah, I don't think this is insane at all to, mostly fade Atlanta. Sensatella in home starts this year has an ERA under 4, a whip under 1.25. I mean, those are good numbers. Those are better than league average anywhere, much less in Coors.
Yeah, so I'm with you. I mean, at chalk, I'm not going to play the Braves.
Yeah, you playing cash games? Yeah, ride and die with Atlanta. I get you, but I won't end up there. I'd rather go to the Colorado side in tournaments at much lower ownership, but I don't really like them that much because I respect Enoa.
Yeah, and I think they probably will get love too. Not as much as Atlanta, but I also respect Enoa, so not interested.
All right, LA against Texas. We already mentioned Ohtani is a guy that we like, and then you said Glenn Otto's getting a little bit of love at this price tag. He was really good the other day against Houston, so that makes a lot of sense. If he ends up being super popular, you interested in Angels then?
I'm very much so. Now, you can't use Ohtani, so I don't know if I want to full stack them, but they got real cheap pieces like David Fletcher leading off at 3,400, Brandon Marsh at 2,100. I could definitely fill in with them, especially because you asked me at the beginning what offense am I vibing on. I said Houston. Houston is Buco Bucks, so I need some sort of value.
All right. Well, let's keep moving down to get to Houston, and then I'll tell you guys all about that.
I am interested in either Otto or the Angels side. Doesn't mean like I'm going to, plan my night around them, but I'm interested in both sides.
Okay. I get that. I think Anderson and Bumgarner are too expensive, but these are not the offenses that I like enough to play here.
Probably the same. Bumgarner hasn't been great recently. I'd actually play Anderson before Bumgarner.
Yeah, Bummy's last 2 starts have been tough. I probably just ignore this game for me.
Yeah, same.
All right, Desclafani against David Price, battle of the first place teams. This is a great real life series.
Yeah, definitely. I know that Desclafani has struggled with the Dodgers this year.
Yeah, this is just such a hard ballpark to want to stack in.
Sure.
I mean, just watching the Brewers play there the last 4 days, there's just so many hard hit balls that you're like, wow, that's a home run almost anywhere else.
Yeah, for sure. I could see using pieces of the Dodgers though.
Sure. I mean, they're the Dodgers. They're pretty good.
You got the 9 at bats. They're pretty affordable ish. So
I'd say they're very affordable. You got Mookie, like 5K is not cheap, but it's cheap for Mookie. Turner's 4,400.
Yeah, like these, like exactly. They're not cheap, but they're affordable. It's exactly.
All right. San Diego against Houston. Oh, so you're vibing on any team against Jake Arrieta. That makes a lot of sense.
Well, I was also like kind of vibing on Houston. They got shut out 2 games in a row. I like that they had the day off. I actually could see offense in both sides of this game. Now, Urquidy was really good before he got hurt, but he's like, we've seen Urquidy before. He's not like an ace. Not saying he's a trash can, but he's not an ace, and he hasn't pitched in a couple months now. So I like the Houston side more. I also don't think San Diego's crazy.
You're not wrong, but I'm way more with your Houston call on this one.
Like Houston, and I feel like, not that I've got the best vibe on them, but a couple weeks ago, I was watching them. I thought they might bust out after that Royals series. They had a couple good games. I have a similar vibe to them tonight, and they will be unowned. I mean, at these price tags, like 1% owned.
I don't know if I can go to 1%, but I'm sure you were right. They'll be very, very low owned. And Arrieta sucks now. This is not 2014. He's not good anymore.
He's not good anymore. And on a lot of slates, Houston will get a lot of love. So, yeah, maybe just because of the matchup, they'll be a little higher owned. I mean, some guys for sure will be higher owned. But you also have, like, they're playing in an NL Park. Their lineup might not come out till late, might not have Alvarez. If you don't have I want Alvarez to be in there, but also like that makes him much easier to stack if you don't have Alvarez.
That's true. Very, very true. And Arrieta's terrible now, so I like that call. I like the day off too. We've talked about this in baseball for years. Sometimes, especially a veteran team like this, get those guys a day of rest, a day to clear their minds. You know how it is. Like, I've been working like 70, 80-hour work weeks for like the last like 3 months. Do you know how good I feel after Sundays when I get to like just relax and not do anything? Like these are all like human beings, just like me, you, and everybody listening to this. Like that day off just to refresh and recharge your batteries can be monstrous.
Didn't think about, I'm sure they did, but day off from everything, probably spent time doing whatever they wanted to do, traveling, didn't think about baseball. I like them coming back into the night low on stack. And we know that when they have good games, they have really good games.
Yeah. And Arrieta is terrible.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think this game is sneaky for offense, especially the Houston side. And there weren't like that's the reason they're going to be low owned. It's because there's such shitty pitching on this slate. A lot of offenses are in good spots.
Yep, exactly. So I would agree with you. I don't think they'll be high owned. Just 1% seems like a low call against Arrieta.
Fair enough. And I'll say this, though. Like, honestly, I don't think ownership matters. And you know me, I'm always looking at ownership. I don't think ownership matters at all on this slate, except for maybe Atlanta. But even Atlanta, like, last night they were, like 40-some% owned? They're not going to be that tonight. Like, I don't think so at all. They will be the highest owned team on the slate. So if there's one team to get away from, it's them. But even, like, the Twins or the Mets, who might be a little bit higher owned than they should, like, those teams are going to be low owned because there's 28 teams in play.
I agree all the way around, guys. So that's what we got for you today. Quick message. For some reason, like 4 different times today, including on one of our YouTube or this week, including on one of our videos yesterday, somebody like asked, like, Ryan, are you sick? Because you look like you've lost a lot of weight. I'm not sick. I've just been working out and eating healthy. I don't have any like disease or anything like that. I'm just fine. I appreciate you guys asking, but it's freakishly come up a bunch this week. I assure you, I'm very, very healthy. I am not going through anything bad or anything like that.
That's a sign you got to put on a little weight, though, when people are asking you if you're sick. So you got to start eating a little bit.
I went and saw a buddy of mine on Sunday because I actually had the day off, and I hadn't seen him in a couple of years. And this is a guy that like we played ball together when we were kids. I was the catcher. He was one of the starting pitchers, and like we just kind of had that bond from when we were young. And we only hang out every couple of years. But he asked me that. He's like, I saw some of your like Facebook stuff, and I was worried like you had like a disease or something. I'm like, no, man. Like when we were kids, he was rail thin, and I had I put on muscle mass at a young age. And now he's like 50 pounds heavier than I am. And I'm like, it's just funny how things have switched. I'm like, no, I just started eating healthy. It's amazing what it does.
Yeah, for sure.
So thank you for the concern, but I'm just fine. Y'all have a good day.
Don't forget to eat, though.
I eat a lot, actually, but it's mostly like food that's good for you, vegetables and grilled chicken and stuff.
Sweet.
Except for tonight when I do my part-time bartending job and I eat fried food all night long.
That's fun.
Oh, it's so good. After eating rabbit food all week, when I get to just devour tater tots and deep, chicken wings and stuff. Oh, it's so good.
Sounds bomb.
All right, later, y'all.
Thanks, guys.